Anything else we discussed? We discussed different policies, right? If you remember, we discussed different policies. So what are the three types of policies we saw yesterday? Yeah. So three policies we saw yesterday. So we saw hedging approach, conservative approach, and aggressive approach. Correct? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So hedging approach we completed yesterday. Okay. And then we saw the hedging approach where they match the timing of the maturity of the instrument and the requirement of capital. If it is a long-term requirement, they go with long-term financing, and short-term requirement, they go with short-term financing. Okay, then it's also called as matching approach. Then conservative approach where they go with lot of long-term financing. You can see in these here already we explained yesterday. Fixed asset and common working capital is being financed, including small part of the temporary working capital is being financed with long-term financing. Okay. And temporary financing, that is only small portion of the temporary financing is being financed with short-term financing. Okay. And we all know that this temporary fund, which is part of that which is not being financed by the long-term finance, it can be idle fund because sometimes they may not require that. Sometimes they may not require that. Got it? So that is why it is called, sometimes it will be idle fund because it will be used only for seasonal purposes. Okay? Yeah. And then this is where I think we were discussing yesterday, and then we stopped it. Got it? That is aggressive approach. Aggressive approach. Yeah. You can see the screen, no? Yeah. Aggressive approach is a high risk approach where they try to finance the working capital, okay, using short term financing. Okay, you can see the equation here we already showed yesterday. So long term finance is used for fixed asset and only a small part of permanent working capital, and short term finance will be used for remaining part of permanent working capital plus temporary working capital. This is the graph. I think I was showing this graph, and yesterday time got over, so we stopped it yesterday there. Okay, so you can see there the fixed assets and permanent working capital. Permanent working capital, part of permanent working capital is being financed by long-term financing. Long-term financing, and the remaining part of permanent working capital as well as the entire part of temporary working capital is being financed by short-term financing. Okay, that is why it is called as aggressive approach. Okay, why it is called aggressive approach? Anyone? Why it is aggressive? Anyone? High risk. Why it is high risk? Lardin is saying high risk. Why it is high risk? Yeah. Because of cost of capital, short-term financing. Okay, short-term financing. They are going for even for permanent working capital. They are using short-term financing. Okay, can you see that one? Yeah. Yeah. So this is what I was explaining. Yesterday we were discussing three policies, right? Working capital policy. One is hedging policy, also called as matching policy, and then second one conservative approach, and then third one is aggressive approach. This is where we stopped yesterday because of time constraint. So time constraint, we couldn't continue there. Okay. Yeah. So in aggressive approach, we have seen there the graphs where they are using long-term fund for fixed asset, and only a small portion of permanent working capital is being used for finance by long-term finance, and the remaining majority part of the permanent working capital as well as the temporary working capital is being financed using short-term financing. That means what it is, because the majority of the financing is actually done by short-term financing for the working capital. That is why it is called aggressive policy. Clear? And what is the advantage? You can see it's a low cost financing because short-term financing, okay, the cost is less compared to the long-term financing. Got it? And lower carrying and handling cost, the cost will be very less for that, okay, for managing the short-term financing. And then highly efficient working capital management because when the cost is less, okay, now automatically what happens, you can able to save a lot of expenses for the company. Okay. And the advantages are there. Equally, there is a disadvantages also. As I said earlier, insolvency risk, because if you are not able to get the short-term finance on time, if you are not able to get the money, say your bank is not able to give you on time the bank money, then what happens? Your operations will get stuck. The company cannot run the business day to day. Okay, and then lost opportunities and unexpected shocks can come for the company because there is a good opportunity for them to say buy a raw material at a low cost. But when they want to buy, they need to have a working capital. If they are not able to get that working capital on the time required, what happens? They lose the opportunity. But they have to buy the same raw material at a higher cost. Got it? That is why it is called as opportunity which is being lost. A lot of unexpected shocks may come, like for example, suddenly the supplier may demand you to pay the money, or the laborers may ask you to do some bonus, or ask them to give the increment in the wages, or when you are not unable to pay even the day-to-day wages, if you are not able to pay, what happens? The workers will not come back to the company next day. Next day they won't report to the company. They will join somewhere else. Got it? So those kind of shocks the company may come across. Okay. So these are the three working capital policies. The slide is available in LMS and as well as the content is there. Please be any doubt is there, you can ask me in the next class. Got it? So everyone, students who are in online as well as offline. Okay. Next, so I was telling this particular concept many times. I was repeating operating cycle, right? So what is the operating cycle? This operating cycle will decide your working capital for the company. Okay, so whether your company requires working capital or not, this cycle will tell you. Okay, and even it will tell you
people are waiting room, sir.
for how many days you require the working capital. That is why the operating cycle is being used, okay, and it is being calculated. There is a formula for now, the formula for calculating operating cycle. Okay, so operating cycle is the length period, the period which requires to convert your sales into cash. To convert your sales into cash. And for manufacturing company, there are three stages are involved. What is the first stage? You can see on the slide. What is the first stage? Yeah. Students in the online, you are able to see the slide, right? Can anyone confirm? You are able to see the slide, right?
Yes,
sir. You have to check the screen. One screen I will be there, other screen the slide will be there. Okay. Yeah. So first one is acquisition of raw material. So they first have the capital. From this capital, they buy raw material and then they do certain production process and they convert that products into finished goods, and then the finished goods they take to the marketplace and they sell it in the market. Okay, so there are three steps. You can see that in the diagram. 1 minute. Yeah, very clear now. So first the company will have a cash. From that cash they purchase raw material, and then they'll have a work in progress. What is the work in progress? Unfinished goods. It's also called as semi-finished goods. That means the production process is still going on. It is not over. Say 50% will be over. Even if 50%, they still company has to complete. Okay, that is what is called work in progress. After that, once the production process is completed, you get finished goods. And after finished goods, you will sell in the market. So when sometimes you will get directly cash. Sometimes the customer will pay cash. Normally for industrial goods and for majority of the sales will be done by what? Credit sales. Okay, so what happens? You will get debtors. The finished goods will get converted into debtors, and these debtors again you have a collection period. You will be having say so many days, say 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. You will give them. Once that time is over, you will get your cash. The entire cycle is called an operating cycle. So cash to raw material to semi-finished goods, some from semi-finished goods to finished goods, then you get into debtors, and then debtors will pay you the money to get the cash. The entire cycle, okay, is called as working capital. This is mainly for manufacturing firm. Okay. Next one you can see for trading firm. What is the trading concern? Anyone? Online, offline students, anyone? What do you mean by trading concern? Why it is different from manufacturing companies? Pardon? Buys and sells the goods. Yeah. Is that something? No. Okay. So trading companies, they doesn't involve in production. They don't produce anything. They will directly buy from the manufacturer or from the, sometimes they even buy from the wholesalers. And they just come and sell in their shop or in their organization. Okay, for example, your Big Bazaar or DMart, they don't manufacture any products. They have also have their own brands. The majority they sell the other company brands. So Big Bazaar is a very company. Got it? So for that, you can see the cycle is very small, right? So they have cash. From that, they buy the inventory from the manufacturer or from the wholesalers, and then they will sell to customer, and then get debtors. They sell it through cash. Normally, the wholesaler will sell to retailer, okay, and retailer will sell to customer, okay, and then the debtors will pay the money, and then you will get the cash, okay. This is for trading concern. One more we are about. This is another one. One more in the type of companies. Only manufacturing already done. Next is trading. One more. One more type of company. Pardon? Joint stock can be trading or it can be a manufacturing company. Service industry, yeah. What about service industry? Will service industry have any inventory? No, they don't have any inventory, right? So this is how you can see there. So what is for them? For them, the service industry is the, I'll show the graph, you can see there. It's only the time taken by the debtors to pay the money. This service industry, they will do some service and then the customer will pay the money. So there is no even inventory also not there. Okay. You can see that it was given by the Rice University. They have formed one flow chart. So this is what the flow chart you can see for service sector or service industry companies. So they have cash. From that they will provide service. Okay, and then they will generate account receivables or debtors, and then they will collect the money from customer. So this entire thing is called an operating cycle. Okay, so you have seen for three types of industries. Clear? Any doubt? Any doubt? Online students? So this is a formula to calculate the operating cycle. Okay. So operating cycle is calculated. Okay. You can see that operating cycle is equal to inventory conversion period. Inventory conversion period plus accounts receivable period. Account receivable period. And again, down you can see how to calculate inventory conversion period. Short term is called ICP. So ICP is equal to average inventory divided by, there is a small spelling mistake, it's a cost of goods sold. It is not OD, it's OF actually. Cost of goods sold divided by 365. Cost of goods sold divided by 365. And account receivable period, the formula is account receivables, average account receivables divided by sales divided by 365 days. Got it? So this is the formula we are using to calculate operating cycle. Okay, all of you note down. Okay, that is the operating cycle formula. All of you note down, right? Yeah. So cash conversion cycle we'll see later. Before that, we will do a problem on this. Okay. You can look at the question back.
No doubt, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, tell me.
No, sir, it's clear, sir.
Okay. So open the question bank. First question, we can go through that. Anyone, please read question number 1. Any one of you, please read question number 1. Yeah. Any one of you read question number 1.
ABC Company provided the following information and requested you to compute operating cycle. Sales rupees 3 lakh, inventory opening rupees 610 lakhs, closing rupees 475 lakhs. Receivable opening rupees 915 lakhs, closing rupees 975 lakhs. Cost of goods sold
Yeah.
cost of goods sold rupees 2,675 lakhs.
Able to see now? Okay, so the company has given you the data. You are supposed to calculate operating cycle. So what the data you have given? One is sales, that is 3,000 lakhs. Then inventory has given 610 lakhs and clothing 475 lakhs and receivables 915 lakhs. And then he has given closing 975. That means he has given the opening balance and closing balance of inventory and receivables. Okay. And then cost of goods sold how much is given? 2,675 lakhs. Okay, so we need to calculate the yeah. So operating cycle is equal to, we already know what is the formula, inventory conversion period plus account receivable period. Okay, OC is equal to ICP plus, okay, ERP. First we have to calculate ICP. So what is the formula for ICP? Average inventory divided by cost of goods sold divided by 365. Okay. So how much is the average investment? Yeah, average inventory. How to calculate average inventory? Yeah. So inventory is given here, right? 610 plus 475. So 610 plus 475 divided by 2. So how much will get? Yeah. Yeah. And then cost of goods sold he has given 2,675 and divided by 2. Okay, so 610 plus 475 divided by 2. Okay, 610 plus 475 divided by 2. Very simple one. Just calculate the average opening balance plus closing balance of inventory divided by 2, and then cost of goods sold he has given 2,675 divided that by 365. So how much are getting numerator?
542.5.
Okay, others? How much you calculate? Not calculating. Calculating. Okay. Yeah. So how much is numerator we getting? 542, and denominator how much is
7.328.
7.328. Yeah. So divide that, you will get the ACP. Inventory conversion period. How much are getting? 34. Yeah. 74 point something you get. So you can take it as 74 days. Why am I taking days? Because it's a period. Period always should tell in terms of days. Okay. So it will take 74 days to convert your raw material into finished goods. That's the meaning of that. 74 days. Okay. Next, we have to calculate accounts receivable period. Account receivable period. What is the formula? Average account receivables. That means you have to add the opening and closing divided by 2, and whole divided by the sales. Take the sales value and divide by 365 days. So how much is opening account receivables? 950. Closing 975. So add and divide by 2. And similarly, sales, you take sales in how much? How much is sales? 3,000 lakhs divided by 355 days. Okay. So how much you are getting numerator? 9. Okay. and denominator 8.219. Correct. So now we divide 945 divided by 8.219.
Double one.
Double one. How much?
114.9.
114.97. Yeah. So you can, how much you can take it as, round it off? Yeah, 115 days. If you take 115 days to get your cash, okay, from the debtor. That's what it is called as account receivable period. Okay. So now how to calculate operating cycle? Just we need to add both. So to add the inventory conversion period and account receivable period, we get the. Okay. So how much we got ICP?
74.
4. Yeah. We got ICP 174, and then AARP we got 115. So you add both.
189.
Yeah. 189 days. So what is the meaning of this 189 days? What do you know the concept of operating cycle? So the cash to cash. Yeah, it's like 189 days for the company to convert that, okay, the raw material into cash. Okay, the cycle will take 189 days. That means till 189 days, this cash, whatever is being used to purchase raw material, it will not be there in the company. So what is the meaning of that? That means whether the company requires any working capital or no. Yeah. So that means there is a requirement of working capital. Company requires working capital because for 189 days, this cash will be blocked. You cannot get this cash for 189 days. That means there is a requirement for them to finance for working capital. They have to arrange money, this cash, this money, okay, up to 189 days. Then what the company will do is, they will now calculate how much is that. Now I came to know for how many days I require. Now I have to calculate how much I require. That's the question will come to your mind. Okay. So first they will calculate operating cycle. Then they will come to know, okay, for so many days they will not be having cash. So then they have to arrange for that. Then they will go for short-term financing. They borrow money from outside. But before borrowing, what they require? They require how much amount they have to borrow, how much money. That is what we will learn the next step. Next step is calculation of working capital requirement. There I teach you how to calculate how much is required, how much they have to borrow. For how many days to borrow, this I came to know 189 days. But how much to borrow, the working capital, operating cycle will not help me. Operating cycle will not tell me how much should I borrow. It will tell me how many days I can borrow. That's all. Okay. That is why we will learn that in the next stage. Next stage is calculating the working capital requirement. How much you require. Got it? Is it clear? Shall I do one more problem or you do it as homework? Pardon me? You are writing down, huh? Okay. Wanted to write out here. Yeah. So this kind of question you may get for 3 marks for question A. Waiting, huh? Huh? Yeah. So we'll go for next question. Question number 2. Somebody read. Online students. Yeah, any,
Paper Mills Limited,
yeah,
CP Paper Mills Limited has provided the following information and requested you to calculate operating cycle. Sales rupees 6069.14 lakhs. Cost of goods sold rupees 4686.24 lakhs. Inventory opening is 1215.61 lakhs. Closing is 832.17 lakhs. Receivables opening 1826.30 lakhs. Closing rupees 1886.58 lakhs.
okay, yeah. Thank you, Ariara. Okay, so he has given us here sales he has given, and he has given cost of goods sold, and then he has given opening and closing balance of inventory and as well as receivables. Okay. Let us now calculate. So first you calculate average inventory, how much you get? Average inventory, that is 185.82 plus 202.29.
$1,499.
No, divide by 2. Divide, calculate the average. First you add and then you divide by 2, then how much you get?
1049.2.
1000,
49, sir.
1049.
0.2.
They're doing same, right? 1215.61, yeah. So numerator got 1049 and denominator how much? 12.839. 839 divided by 84. Yeah. So now we divide it.
82 days.
80,
2 days.
82 days. Yeah, 81.7 is get, right? All of you got?
Yes, sir.
Am I going fast? If you want, I can slow down. Okay. It's a very simple problem. Not much difficulty in that. So approximately how many days? 82 days. Yeah. Got it, students? Now next what have to calculate? Yeah, average receivables period. So calculate the average receivables. That is opening is 1826.30 lakhs and closing is 1886.58. Add that and divide by 2. And sales is 6069.14. Divide that by 365.
Triple 16, sir.
Yeah, how much in numerator, denominator?
Numerator 1856.4
Okay.
divided by 16.627.
Yeah, 16.63, right?
Yes, sir.
27 to take it as 63. So divide further. How much are you getting?
Triple
111.
111, sir.
111.
6.63.
Yeah, so 111.63 to all of you got. So how much you can round it off to?
112.
12 days. So how much is my operating cycle? How many days? ICP is 82 and ARP is 112. So you add that, how many days you get?
194 days.
Yeah, so write that. Okay, operating cycle is equal to inventory conversion period plus average receivables period. Receivables period. So how many days you are getting? 194 days. So what is the conclusion?
It takes 194 days to convert
Yeah.
The
So,
raw material into cash.
494 days that the CP paper mill company, it requires 194 days to convert raw material into cash. Okay. In other words, some amount of cash blocked for 194 days. Therefore, they will need to have a working capital. This is how the company will calculate whether they require working capital or not, and for how many days they require working capital. You understand? That is a very important benefit of this concept, wonderful concept called operating cycle. Got it? So then company will next they have to arrange for 194 days. Now they have to arrange the finance. Either they have to go for borrowing from bank or go for money market or issuing commercial papers. Okay. Or sometimes they get a trade credit if they have a good rapport with the suppliers. Okay. Then do that. Got it, sir? Okay. Under operating cycle, we have one more concept called cash conversion cycle. Okay. We'll look into that. Students in online, is it clear? Any doubt you have? Anybody have any doubt? No? Yes, no? Often I can get it directly from here. Since I'm not able to see you, please tell me. Yes or no? No doubt?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
So question number 3. Before that, let me explain to you the concept of cash conversion cycle. Okay, so now we know what is operating cycle. The next one is cash conversion cycle. Okay, what is that? That is a time actually which is between the company pays the money to the supplier and the money they get from the customers. Okay, that's what you can see there. So the amount of the time a firm's resources are tied up. Okay, by calculating subtracting the average payment period from the operating cycle. So what is that? In other terms, the day the firm pays its suppliers. Okay, and the date it receives cash from customers. Say today I am paying to my suppliers. Say after 30 days I get my money from customers. So this is called cash conversion cycle. So from today to 30th of August. Okay, that is the cash conversion cycle. That is from supplier payment to receiving from customers. That is called cash conversion cycle. Okay, so how it is calculated? Cash conversion cycle is called CCC is equal to operating cycle minus APP. What is APP? Average accounts payable. Average accounts payable. Okay. Average accounts payable. You can see there how it is calculated. Average account payable. What's the formula? Average accounts payable. You have to take the opening balance of account payable and closing balance you have to add and divide by 2. And whole thing is divided by what? Cost of goods sold divided by 365 days. Okay? Cost of goods sold divided by 365 days. Accounts payable period. APP. Accounts payable period is equal to average accounts payable. Okay. Divided by cost of goods sold divided by 365 days. Don't write everything, just write the formula. Let's see now. Okay, this is what you can see the full operating cycle is actually from year to year. I'll show you that. From here, the receipt of invoice, purchase of raw material, till collection of account receivable is your full operating cycle. This is called full operating cycle. Okay, are you able to see? Yeah, this one. This is operating cycle from here to here. And cash conversion cycle is only from year to year. Okay, that is sale of goods to payment to suppliers. You can see there, payment to suppliers, you get the money to customers. Alright, that is called cash conversion cycle. And a few months back, there was one article in the economic business standard that okay, they spoke about working capital. Anybody have gone through this? Did you read that? So they have done a survey during the pandemic time. They came on 19th of April. Okay, this year 2021 only. So they have found out that they have done survey for top 500 companies, and they set it the cash cycle. And they said they have done the survey. They came to know that because of the pandemic, they have to stretch their cycle, okay, cash cycle to 6 days. Extra 6 days they will require to get the money. I think now it will be more than 6 days. Okay? But those 500 companies which they have done the survey, so they need to know that they are additional 6 days required for them to get the cash. To convert the cash into cash pay or convert the raw material into cash, because they require 6 more days extra because of the pandemic. And the link is there. If you can read the article. Okay, when you have time, you can read that. Yeah, this is that article. Okay, this is the article which came. You're not able to see, no? Yeah, link is there. You can read that later when you have time. Yeah. Okay, so we will calculate now one more problem on cash conversion cycle, and then we will go for working capital. Yeah, so from the following, question number 3, I'm reading. From the following information or financial information, calculate cash conversion cycle, and then you have given us average usage of inventory 80 days, and account receivables collection period 50 days, and accounts payable is 40 days. Okay. Account payable period. So APP is given directly, and then ACP also is given directly 50 days, and average inventory period also is given directly 80 days. Okay. All of you have question bank, right? So I can change the screen. So to calculate cash conversion cycle, first you have to calculate what? Operating cycle. Once I know operating cycle, from that you can minus APP. Okay. Accounts payable period, then I will get the cash conversion cycle. Okay, that's simple. So cash conversion cycle is equal to operating cycle minus, okay, APP, average payment payables, accounts payable. So how much? First you will calculate operating cycle. How much is given? Account receivable.
80.
Yeah, that is receivables. 80 days, right? 80 days plus 50 days. You can see there. The average usage of inventory is 80 days and receivables is 50 days. Average inventory period. Okay. Yeah. Average inventory period. Inventory conversion period 80 days. Account receivable period 50 days. So how much you get operating cycle? 130 days. Yeah. So how to calculate CCP? OC I already have. Okay, 130 days minus accounts payable period. How much is given? Accounts payable period 40 days.
40.
So 130 minus 40 days.
90 days.
Yeah. So what is the meaning of 90 days? Anyone? Cash conversion cycle I got 90 days. What's the meaning of that?
The time period the firm will pay the supplier.
90?
Time period the firm will pay the supplier.
Okay. Anyone outside, huh? Liquidity period. Okay.
So credit converting into cash.
Yeah. It is actually the time duration between the moment they pay the money to supplier till they receive the money from customers. That is 90. But it is called cash conversion cycle. That means what? Say I am paying to my supplier today. When will I get my money from my customers? So that is 90 days for it. Almost 2 months. Almost 2 months for the company. Got it? So this is how actually we calculate operating cycle and cash conversion cycle. Okay. So you also can try this. Question number 4 you can try today. Okay. The homework you can try today. Question number 4. A very simple problem. He has given you beta companies data. He has given you. He has given you what? Yeah. He's asking you to calculate cash conversion cycle. That means first we have to calculate operating cycle. Then you can calculate cash conversion cycle. So here he has given sales, he has given cost of goods sold, he has given inventory opening and inventory closing, then account receivables opening and closing, account payable is given opening and closing. So all data is there. Only you got to calculate the averages and then apply the formula, you get the answer. Okay. Not take more than 5 to 10 minutes. You can do that. Okay. So now you all learn. Okay, what is working capital? Okay, and what is the importance of that? Determinants of working capital and different policies of working capital. You learn about operating cycle. Okay, so what is operating cycle and how it is calculated? You understood now. Now, very important thing is next is calculation of working capital required. Or how much is working capital required for the company? That is what is very, very vital. That is what we are going to learn now. Yeah. So there are 2 approaches to calculate the working capital requirement or estimation of working capital. Okay. One is called as total approach. Second one is called cash approach. Okay. That is cash cost approach. In total approach, okay, the estimation of all costs, including depreciation and other profit margin. Okay, what is the profit margin they have decided? You know, right? What is profit margin? Not in economics, right? Determination of cost. What is profit margin? See, if my total cost is X, so that I'm going to add B part within the profit margin and then I'll calculate the selling price. But if it's a profit, what I'm adding? Okay, apart from the cost, what I'm incurring, what is called profit margin. So here we're going to add depreciation. And then why is he significantly talking about depreciation? Can someone tell me? Yeah. Normally in we finance people, we don't actually take depreciation into consideration for cost calculation. Why? Because it's a non-cash item. Because when I'm calculating depreciation now, when I'm giving subtracting depreciation, the money is actually not going out anywhere. Money is in the company itself. Okay. So in the total cost approach, but what they do, they will include depreciation also. Even though cash is not going out. Okay. Plus profit margins are included unless it is specifically told clear. Okay. And cash cost approach, what happens is we will consider all the costs except for depreciation and profit margin. And minusing that depreciation and profit margin from my total cost, that becomes what? Cash cost approach. That means what? We will consider only the cash cost of the expenses, cash expenses. Whichever the non-cash expenses, we will exclude them. That is what is called cash cost approach. Okay, we are going to use only the cash cost approach for calculating. Anyways, I'll teach you both of the methods how to use that for calculating working capital. Clear? Any doubt till now? If you want to get the difference, will be seen there. So total approach and cash cost approach can be different. Raw material cost, if you want to calculate, here there is not much difference in same actually. We will take net cost which is incurred for purchasing the raw material. Okay, after discount. In both the way we will take same thing, either cash cost or total approach. Then work in progress. This is what will make a difference. You can see there. Here we consider 100% cost of raw material, and then 50% of labor cost and 50% of production overhead. And here you can see there, including depreciation. Okay?
The waiting room, sir.
Cost approach. And in cash cost approach, you can see what we are doing. We are taking same 100% of cost of raw material and 50% of labor, 50% of production overhead. But here we exclude depreciation. We have to minus depreciation. And then finished goods, it is same. Cost of goods, cost of production, including depreciation, and here cost of production excluding depreciation. Because when you are deducting depreciation in the work in progress, obviously it will even not come in the finished goods also. Okay. And then debtors, how to calculate selling price, including profit margin. Whereas here selling price less depreciation and profit margin. Here we are not going to consider. We are going to actually consider on cost of sales. We don't take the total cost. Okay. And then creditors, net purchase cost incurred after discount. And here also the same, the net purchase cost incurred after discount. So main you can see in the work in progress and finished goods and funded data. When you are calculating those three assets, okay, all these are assets. All these three assets, when you are calculating, what will be clear. That will not that will make difference between total cost approach and cash cost approach. Clear? Any doubt? Yeah. Now let me show you the format of calculating working capital requirement or estimation of working capital. This is the format we will use to calculate the working capital. Yeah. The format is there in LMS. You can download it. Okay. But we try to understand first. Here a lot of formulas are involved. So please understand the formulas, how to calculate. So you can see there we have, it's very simple. I'll tell you overall table is total current assets. Okay, we write it and write total and the total assets and then current liabilities and then we have the total current liabilities. And you all know how to calculate working capital, that is total current assets minus total current liabilities, the working capital. So under current assets we have balance of cash balance will be there. Then inventories. In inventory we have three kinds of inventory. Okay, raw material, work in progress, and finished goods. All these three are called as inventory. And for each of that, there is a formula is there. You can see there. For raw material, what is the formula? That is BP means budgeted production into raw material cost per unit and average holding period and divided by P. I'll tell you what the abbreviations are there. Don't worry. Then work in progress again, budgeted production units into work in progress cost into the average holding period divided by T. Then finished goods, budgeted production into cost of production. COP means cost of production into average holding period in divided by T. Then debtors, budgeted production, or here you can see the two are there. What is COS? Cost of sales or selling price. Which one will you use for cash cost approach? COS or SP? Selling price or cost of sales? For cash cost approach, you have to use cost of sales. If you want to calculate using total cost approach, you have to use selling price. Okay, into average collection period divided by T. Then debtors, next you have to calculate. Then you have to add all that, you get the total current assets. Then current liabilities, you can see there, creditors of raw material. So the formula is again budgeted production. They'll tell you that like how much they are trying to produce. That is what is called as BP, budgeted production. Then they want to manufacture say 1,000 units or 2 lakh units. So that's what they have already budgeted. This much units they want to manufacture, that is what BP. Budgeted production multiplied by raw material cost into APP. What is APP? This will be done, right? APP, what is it? Average rate of period. Okay, divided by T. Then creditors of wages. Wages we are when you are not paying anything with the liability, that also becomes a current liability. So you have to calculate that. That is BP into wages. Okay, divided multiplied by LIP. That is nothing but lagging payment. So that means how many days you are lagging in paying to your workers. Sometimes they lag in 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. The delay is the payment. Okay, and divided by T. And then creditors of other overheads. Okay, all other indirect costs are called overheads. You already know that. So how to calculate that? After budget production into overhead cost per unit into again lagging payment of overheads divided by T. So when I add all that, I'll get what? Total current liability. Then you minus that current assets minus current liability. When you do that, you get capital. Yeah, pardon me. Any doubt? And then we need to add contingency. We need to add contingency for any unforeseen events or for any unforeseen events the company may come across where they may need more working capital. Especially like the time like pandemic, right? So they need more working capital. So for that they will always add some contingency. So the normally it will be percentage of the working capital. So 10%, 5%, 20%. They'll take on the net working capital. And then when you add that, you get what? Net working capital requirement. That is here. Net working capital requirement. Okay. So you can see the abbreviations are given there. All the abbreviations are there. BP is budgeted production per annum, RMC is raw material cost, WIPC is work in progress cost per unit. Again here conversion period. Sometimes they give you the work in progress stage. Will give you what stage the working progress is there. Either 50% production is over or 60% is over. Based on that, you can calculate. In case they are not given the completion stage of the products, what is there in the WIC work in progress, then you can take this one as a standard. Standard means what? 100% I'll take for raw material cost and 50% I'll take labor cost and 50% overhead cost. If they given say 60% completion stage, then you should take 60% of what? Labor cost and 60% of overhead cost. Or if they given 80% is completed. I mean production total 80% is over. Then you take 80% of labor cost and 80% of overhead cost. In case we are not doing anything in the question, then this is what you can take. You can take 50% labor, 50% overhead. Got it? That's the meaning of that. And then COP is cost of production per unit, COA is cost of goods. That is what is used for cash cost approach, and selling price is used for total cost approach. Then wage per unit, overhead per unit, T is number of days. It depends on the question. You can see there. If they given in days, you can take days or months or weeks. You can take the T. The denominator is right. T there. The T you can take that. And then AHP is average holding period. ACP is average collection period. APP is average payment period. And LIP is lagging payment. Now this is big for your current liabilities, wages and for your labors and overheads. Okay, that is lagging payment. And if the payment is done in advance, it will come under the current liabilities. Okay, and if it is a advance payment is being made to creditors, Okay, then item would appear in the current assets. Okay. So that is what is your format of calculating working capital. So any doubt? The time is up. Before you wind up, any doubt? Understood the format? So next class we will start the problem for working capital requirements. So today's homework, question number 4. All of you please solve that and upload in LMS. Clear?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Next
Thank
class,
you, sir.
tomorrow, I forgot to tell you, right, that I didn't do that. So unit 1 quiz I told, right? Unit 1 quiz we have next class. During class hours only, I'll give you 10 minutes time. You can do it. Okay? Also can do it in the class.
Okay,
Just
sir.
questions are there. This are the quickly let answer. So 1 minute for one question. So 10 minutes is fine. Okay? Yeah. So we do that. So prepare. Please read unit 1 and come for the next class. We'll have the quiz on unit 1. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.